As for Bitcoin, we know that the bull cycle is far from over. In fact, we just started it and we already broken all-time highs. So multiple times. So right now we're sitting a little bit below, but 73,000 is right around the corner. And after that, the sky is the limit. We are far, far, far from over. Yesterday, we had another horrible day. Yesterday, we had a negative 263 million outflow. Okay, so that's not good because Grayscale continued to sell so much and BlackRock slowed down their buying. But we had 3 consecutive red days. Horrible, horrible. Adding up to like almost 800 million outflow from mostly all from Grayscale because they just continue to dump and dump and dump and they're not stopping. But here's the thing, even with yesterday's outflow, guess what? Bitcoin still recovered up 11%. That means there are still so many people buying. They may not be buying the ETFs, but they're buying Bitcoin directly from Coinbase, from Binance, from whatever, right? But just imagine when there's no more reds. When Grayscale finally stops selling, how much more buy pressure there will be. But like right now, they are still dumping $500 million per day. And I can't figure it out and it sucks, but that's what's happening. Look at their balance. I mean, they started before ETFs, they had 650,000 Bitcoin in their reserve and now they're around 350,000. They sold 300,000. And I know it's not just Grayscale, the investors that are holding their shares. But I think a lot of it is they, meaning DCG and Genesis, they're in trouble. That's why they held an enormous amount of shares and they had to sell. So I do think a lot of it is Grayscale's fault or their parents' fault, right? Or their sister company's fault. So I do think a lot of it is due to them. But a lot of it is due to insiders also selling and so forth. And maybe some of it is due to BlackRock too. I would not be surprised if BlackRock is like a major shareholder of Grayscale. Like I haven't been able to find that info, but that would not surprise me. So some of that as well. But regardless, massive amount of selling from Grayscale. And I can't wait for the days when I could show you inflows into Grayscale. I don't think we've seen that since the inception of ETFs. Where are the inflows? Eventually they will happen, but not right now. But regardless, like I said, there's other whales that are buying. Here's an example from Binance. You have someone that just bought 42 million, okay, in the past 2 hours. And 42 million may seem insignificant, but it still adds up. And this is just one example of one whale. There are many whales that are buying directly, like I said, from Coinbase and Binance and Gemini. They're buying boatloads. And the key thing to remember is when it comes to Bitcoin, there isn't infinite amount. There isn't. Unlike stocks, unlike gold, unlike oil, unlike anything else out there that basically has an infinite supply or more supply than anyone could ever imagine versus Bitcoin where we know there's a set supply. It's such an easy thing for Bitcoin. Like there's just so many. There's not enough to go around. There's not even enough to go around for every millionaire on the planet, let alone billionaires and trillionaires that are buying up. When I say trillionaires, I mean the institutions and banks that have trillions and trillions of dollars. I mean, all these people are FOMOing. So there's just not enough. It's just a simple of supply and demand. And demand is way greater than supply. And Bitcoin is the only thing that offers that. And let's not forget the miners too. Miners continue to hash. And they continue to hold what they hash. Okay? Their hash rate, or they're pushing the hash rate to astronomical levels right now. It is at an all-time high. That's not going to stop. So the network is getting stronger by the minute. And those miners, they're hoarding every single Bitcoin that they mine. So again, adds to the supply shock. If they're not releasing the Bitcoin that they're mining, so basically everyone is fighting for what exists. And even if they are releasing what they're mining, there's not that much. We already mined 95% of all Bitcoin in existence. So they're all fighting for just the last 5%. So think about it. Vast majority have already been mined. Everyone's fighting for the last little bit. But what's out there is being eaten up by these big whales and institutions and ETFs. Bitcoin will be much, much, much higher, right? $97,000. That's only a short-term target. That's not a long-term target. Okay, once we're able to break through our current slump and we break through 75K, you know, the next target is right around 97,000 or 100,000. That's short term. That can happen within the next month. Before the halving event or shortly after halving event, we got like 22 days left until we hit the halving event. That's still within possibilities, right? That's not out of reach. So think about it. By the time we hit a halving event, we could be at $97,000. And then after that, who knows? Bitcoin go a lot higher. A lot higher. Once we get to 6 figures Bitcoin, it's going to be absolute insanity. Okay? Insanity. You're going to hear about everyone talking about it when you're at the gym, you're in a grocery store, you're in an airplane, family dinners, wherever, date night. You're going to hear about Bitcoin being spoken by everyone, and just know that you're going to be way ahead of the game because you're already in while everyone else is trying to figure out what is Bitcoin. This is significant. I know a lot of you guys don't live in the US, but a lot of you guys do. This is very, very, very significant. We know right now Wall Street is leading the Bitcoin charge, and when these fund managers are feeling good, they're able to borrow money once again, and the liquidity is flowing left and right. You know what? They're going to start placing bets, and they're going to bet on the fastest horse. And the fastest horse is Bitcoin, or crypto for that matter. Okay? There will be a lot more money flowing everywhere, but especially into Bitcoin, I believe. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic. This is predictable. It was not unpredictable. It was predictable, just didn't know when it was going to happen. It seems like it's going to be soon because if they have to fit 3 rate cuts in, excuse me, that means the next one's probably in May, which is coming up right after the halving event. So absolutely fantastic.